Hi everyone, this is Scott from Ink Products. In this video I'm going to show you how to use our new and improved snap and fill tool to actually fill the original HP cartridges. But I'm going to go through a few things first on the cartridge themselves, because there's 3 different types of cartridges, and it also determines on how much ink you're going to put in them and stuff like that. So before I get started, I'm going to show you the cartridges, and I'll zoom in on them right here. The first cartridge that you get when you purchase your machine is what they call a startup or a setup cartridge. It looks like this. So what I've done is I've cut it open just to show you the idea of how much ink you're going to put in there. See this little sponge right here? Actually, it's like a fiber. So this is all they're giving you, and it's saturated, normally saturated with ink. Put it in there, you're going to get X amount of copies out of it, and that's about it. So all this is blanked out. Can it be refilled? Yes, but you just have to use a little ink in there, not a lot. The second type cartridge that they also offer you is actually the standard cartridge. Now you can see in here there's a lot more fiber, and it's more of that empty space filled up with the fiber. This is a good cartridge to refill over and over again, so if you can get these, really good to fill. The last one is obviously the XL, which is the best to do refilling with. Now the difference between the cartridges are this little section right here is hollowed out. Normally there'll be ink in here, and at the very bottom there's a tiny little cutout. So how it works is it actually feeds the ink slowly into the sponge, it saturates it, and it comes out there. That's a quick idea. But the best part is when you refill this, it takes a long time for that to saturate the sponge. When you're doing these right here, any of these, the startup one or this one, once you fill this up and it starts to go low, it drains, it goes a lot quicker. So whatever you put in here, that's all. This is kind of like a little extra tank in here. That's why they're more expensive, but they actually are, they fill better, and also they're better for refilling. So that's the differences in the cartridges. So I'm going to show you how to use our tool that we've developed. It's a snap fill tool. It's exactly what that is. It looks just like this. And now I'm going to show you how to fill the yellow. In our kit you get the little plunger, little syringe. Now you can either take the ink out of the little cup or out of the bottle itself, doesn't matter. Now the first time you're going to do this, you're not going to know how much ink to put in there. There's really not an exact amount, but if you're using the setup cartridges, little is better. So if you're going to fill this all the way up and try to push all that ink in there, it's going to flood. It's not going to work very good. So if you do have the setup cartridges, just start off with, say, a half. So like do about 6 milliliters, fill it in, and then when it starts to come out well, I'm going to go through that in a minute, but when it starts to come out the top or whatever, you're all set. But here we're going to do the one cartridge like this, setup cartridge. Also, I'm going to show you in this video, it's very important to do this correctly. There's a tab on the cartridge. There's a cutout in the snap fill. Also, our storage clips are the same way. But people have a problem sometimes. What they think is you're just going to take this and you're just going to squish it down in there and it's going to snap in. That's not how you do it. So like the instructions we show you, take this little tab and then you're going to slide it in between the little notch, the cutout, pull it down, you're going to hear a snap. Just like that. If you don't hear that click, it's not snapped in properly, and if you go to put ink in here, ink is going to go all over and you're going to have a mess everywhere. So just make sure you hear that click, but the tab must go through that little notch, twist it a little bit, and then pop it on like that. Okay, so now the fill tool is all connected. It's ready to go. The next step, what you're going to do, I have mine in a little cup. Like I said, you can pull it out of the bottle or the little cup, doesn't matter. And I'm just going to put, like I said, on that one, you can go to about 10 on this one. You may not use all the ink in it. It's okay. You can put it back in their bottle. Just like the instructions show, you're going to take this right here and you're going to insert it right into the little hose there. And have some paper towel, just in case. Make sure that's all hooked up. Just like this. And make sure this is all the camera here. Get a good picture. Let me move that over there. It's out of the way. And just like the instructions, we tell you just to slowly push. You don't want to squirt this in really hard because it'll, you know, it could actually just blow out everything. You have ink everywhere. So just a little at a time. Push. Go a little bit. Let it sit. Just push it in there. And what we're doing is we're actually filling it from the bottom exit hole there and into the sponge. So it's going to saturate it really good. So if we were using this XL cartridge, you'd be doing the same thing, but it's going to take longer because you want to fill up that little extra chamber. But you just keep filling it. Now, let's say you fill it, you had a little ink still left in here. Flip this back upright. If you see ink coming out of this little hole here, that's the air hole, that means you put a lot of ink in there. So what I would normally do is, if you did, you're just going to go ahead and draw back. Pull a little bit of that out of there. There's too much ink in there. What happens is, if you have too much ink in any of these cartridges, we call it head pressure. So what that means is, you have a lot of liquid sitting in here. The minute you put it into your machine, it's too much pressure. You either have, when you go to print something, it'll be dripping everywhere, or sometimes it's so heavy with ink that nothing will come out at all. Then you'll know right there you have too much ink in your cartridges. So at that point, you can either let it sit on a paper towel, bleed some of it out of it, or put the tool back on it and just draw back and take some of it out. Now after we've filled it like this, you put some ink in there. Like I filled it up with 10, I'm still going here because it's quite a bit of material in there, sponge to fill up. And you want it saturated, but not too much. So I'm down to about 5 right now. I'm still filling. And then probably halfway through, what I do sometimes, tip it up like this, and then go ahead and see if you can get more in there. Just continue to push it in. Oops, I'm not even on camera here. Hold on. Continue to push it in. Just nice and slow. So what we want to do, nice and slow. Now we get all this 10 cc's in there. That's plenty of ink. Trust me. A little ink goes a long way. Okay, we got pretty much all of it in there. Starting to bubble at the top. You see that? So what you do, keep it holding up like this. Pull back. It'll release all that pressure and a little bit of that ink that we put too much in there. So you pull it back. Take your paper towel. Just go ahead and wipe that off. Not going to hurt anything. And just before you disconnect, just kind of give it a little jerk back like that. That'll just seal everything off. Now, just disengage it. Unsnap it. Take it out of the little tool there. There, this cartridge is filled perfectly. And then if you want, again, just before you put it back into the machine, just go ahead and dab it off like this. And then snap it in, and there you go. Again, it's the same thing with the large cartridge. Most important is getting this clipped in properly. You know, I have a couple of customers, like they just skip a step and they go ahead and try to smash this in here. What can happen is you'll damage your tab on your cartridge, or it could actually break off, and then you have to buy a new cartridge. So just, you know, take your time, follow the instructions, snap it in the same way, just like that. They all snap in the same way. Fill a little bit like this, and at the very end, just go ahead and flip it upside down, or upright, and then go ahead and continue to fill it, pull back on it, dab it off, and then you're all set. And that's about it for the video. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and give us a call, and we'll be more than happy to help you out.